Shalom, my friends. Today, I am going to pull back the curtain on a topic shrouded in mystery and misunderstanding. We are going to talk about the billionaire mindset, but not the way the world talks about it, not the shallow advice about hustle and grind. Today, I will reveal the 3,000-year-old spiritual blueprint for the mindset that creates not just millions, but billions. By the end of this video, you will possess the ancient Torah-based mental framework that separates the wealthy from the truly rich, and you will know exactly how to install it into your own mind. But first, I have a critical question for you. Drop a comment below and answer honestly. What is the number one belief about money that you feel is holding you back? Is it the idea that money is the root of all evil? That you're not smart enough? That you have to work yourself to the bone to get rich? Be honest with yourself and with me. Now, listen closely. I am on a mission to bring this timeless wisdom about wealth, faith, and legacy to 50,000 people. We are building a community of spiritual warriors who are ready to break free from the chains of a poverty mindset. If you believe in this mission, if you feel a calling to be part of this army of light, then hit that subscribe button right now. It's not just a click. It's a commitment to your own transformation. And for those who are ready to go deeper, to access the inner circle teachings that I reserve for my most dedicated students, I invite you to become a channel member. You will get exclusive content, early access to videos, and the advanced strategies that will accelerate your journey. Click the Join button, and let's begin this sacred work together. All right. Let's get into it. Everything you've been taught about the billionaire mindset is wrong. The world tells you it's about ruthless ambition, 100-hour work weeks, and a genius-level IQ. That is a lie. It's a lie designed to keep you on the hamster wheel, trading your precious time for a paycheck, forever feeling like you're not enough. The true billionaire mindset has nothing to do with greed and everything to do with God. It's not about what you do, it's about how you think. It's a secret that was given to our father Abraham over 3,500 years ago, and it has been the hidden engine behind every great fortune in history. Today, I am giving you the key to that engine. I remember a time when I was trapped. I was a successful accountant, a multi-millionaire, but I had hit a ceiling. My income was capped by the number of hours in a day. I was working constantly, but my wealth wasn't growing exponentially. I was rich, but I wasn't wealthy. I was a prisoner of my own success. I would look at the true giants of industry, the billionaires, and I felt a sense of frustration. What did they know that I didn't? I was smart, I worked hard, I prayed, but I was missing a piece of the puzzle. One night, in the depths of my study, surrounded by holy books, was crying out to God in frustration. What is the secret? What am I missing? And in the silence, a verse from the Torah echoed in my soul, a verse I had read 1,000 times, but never truly understood. It was the key that unlocked everything. It was the birth of the billionaire mindset. The common enemy we are all fighting is not a lack of opportunity or a lack of talent. The enemy is a deeply ingrained employee mindset. From the moment we are born, we are programmed for scarcity. Go to school, get good grades, get a safe job, trade your time for money, and pray you have enough to retire. This is the mental slavery of the modern world. The hidden mechanism is that this mindset creates a spiritual vessel a kli in Hebrew that is tiny. It's a thimble trying to catch a waterfall. You can pray for a flood of blessings, but if your vessel is the size of a thimble, you will only ever receive a thimble's worth. The cost of inaction, the cost of clinging to this employee mindset is catastrophic. It's not just the millions of dollars you will never earn. It's the life you will never live, the impact you will never make, the legacy you will never leave. It is the quiet desperation of a life lived at 10% of its potential. Now, let me connect this to the source, to the very first command that began the journey of our people. In Genesis chapter 12, God says to a man named Avraham, living in the prosperous but idolatrous city of Haran, Lech lecha. These two words are perhaps the most profound in the entire Torah. They are usually translated as go forth, but the literal Hebrew translation is go to yourself. God says, go to yourself, from your land, from your birthplace, and from your father's house, to the land that I will show you. This was not just a travel instruction. This was a spiritual command. Your land represents the comfortable habits you live in. Your birthplace represents your environment and the conventional wisdom of the masses. Your father's house represents the limiting beliefs you inherited from your family and upbringing. God was telling Avram to become Abraham, the father of nations, the spiritual billionaire. You must first abandon your mental geography. You must leave behind the thimble-sized thinking of your environment. You must go to yourself, to the divine, unlimited, billionaire soul that I placed within you. The core principle is this: true wealth is not found by chasing money. It is found by embarking on an inner journey to discover the infinitely valuable soul you already possess. Abraham became the wealthiest man of his time, not because he was a better shepherd, but because he was a revolutionary thinker. He was willing to abandon every safe and secure idea he had ever known, based on pure faith in a promise. That is the genesis of the billionaire mindset. I was living this truth in reverse. I was physically successful, but mentally trapped in my father's house, the house of accounting, of billable hours, of linear income. My epiphany that night came from truly understanding Lech lecha. I realized God was calling me to go to myself, to leave the mental landscape of an accountant and journey to the mindset of a creator, an owner, a king. The secret wasn't about working more hours. It was about fundamentally changing the unit of my work. I had to stop thinking in terms of time and start thinking in terms of value, in terms of creation, in terms of impact. So I made a terrifying decision. I began the process of selling my accounting firm. My partners thought I was insane. I was leaving a multi-million-dollar business, a sure thing, but I knew I had to. I took the capital, and instead of investing it in safe stocks, I began to build businesses. I started an e-commerce company. I invested in real estate development. I launched a coaching program. My focus shifted from how much can I earn per hour to how much value can I create for thousands of people at once. The result? My net worth didn't just double or triple. It multiplied by a factor of 10, and then again. I had broken through the ceiling because I had first broken out of the mental prison. I had finally obeyed the command of Lech lecha. But let me be clear, this journey was not easy. The first year after I sold my firm, I lost money. I made mistakes. I invested in ventures that failed. My wife was worried. My friends whispered that I had made a catastrophic error. There were nights I lay awake, terrified that I had thrown away everything I had built. But here's what I learned. The billionaire mindset is not about never failing. It's about redefining what failure means. In the employee mindset, failure is the end. You lose your job, you lose your income, you lose your identity. But in the billionaire mindset, failure is data. It's feedback. It's the tuition you pay for the education that no university can provide. I didn't lose money in those failed ventures. I invested in my own transformation. Every mistake taught me something invaluable about value creation, about market dynamics, about human psychology. And those lessons became the foundation of the businesses that eventually made me far wealthier than I had ever been as an accountant. Now, let me tell you about two other people who made this Abrahamic shift, because I want you to see that this is not just my story. This is a universal principle that works for anyone who applies it. Story number 1, Daniel. Daniel was a high school teacher. He loved teaching, but he was financially struggling. He was making $45,000 a year, and with a family of 4, it was barely enough. He came to me frustrated. "Rabbi, I want to serve, I want to make a difference, but I can't even pay for my daughter's braces. How can I think about being a billionaire when I can barely be a thousandaire?" I asked him, "What do you teach?" He said, "History." I said, "Do you love it?" His eyes lit up. "I love it. I make history come alive for my students. They tell me I'm the best teacher they've ever had." I said, "Daniel, you have $1 billion skill, but you're operating in a $1,000 model. You're trading time for money in a classroom of 30 students. What if you could teach 30,000 students? What if you could package your gift and deliver it to the world?" He looked at me like I was crazy. "How?" I said, "The internet. Create an online history course. Teach the way you teach in your classroom, but record it. Sell it for $97. If 10,000 people buy it, that's $1 million. And you only have to create it once." Daniel was skeptical, but he was desperate enough to try. He spent his summer creating a 12-week online course called History Alive. He launched it. The first month, he made $3,000. Not life-changing, but it was a start. He kept refining it, kept marketing it. Within 2 years, that course had generated over $800,000 in revenue. He quit his teaching job, not because he stopped loving teaching, but because he could now teach millions instead of dozens. He had made his Lech Lecha. He left the land of the traditional classroom and journeyed to the unlimited world of digital education. Story number 2, Sarah. Sarah was a nurse. She was making $70,000 a year, working 12-hour shifts, exhausted, burned out. She came to one of my workshops and heard about the billionaire mindset. She said, "Rabbi, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a nurse. I take care of people. How does this apply to me?" I said, "Sarah, what problem do you see every day in your work?" She thought for a moment. "Patients are confused. They leave the hospital with a stack of discharge papers and no idea what to do. They don't take their medications correctly. They don't follow up with their doctors. And then they end up back in the ER, sicker than before." I said, "That's $1 billion problem. What if you created a solution? She said, like what? I said, what if you created a service that helps patients after they leave the hospital? A concierge nursing service. You visit them at home. You make sure they understand their medications. You coordinate with their doctors. You prevent them from being readmitted. Her eyes widened. Insurance companies would pay for that. Hospitals would pay for that. It would save them millions in readmission costs. Within 6 months, Sarah had launched Home Health Navigators. She started with 5 clients. Within a year, she had contracts with 3 hospitals and 2 insurance companies. Within 3 years, her company was generating $2 million a year in revenue, and she had hired a team of 15 nurses. She wasn't working 12-hour shifts anymore. She was building a company that was transforming healthcare. She had shifted from trading time for money to creating a system that delivered massive value. These stories are not fairy tales. They are real. And the common thread is this. Both Daniel and Sarah stopped asking, how can I earn more? And started asking, what value can I create? That is the billionaire mindset. Now, let me give you the practical 3-step process to install this billionaire mindset. I call it the Abrahamic shift. Step 1. Identify your mental Haran. You must become ruthlessly aware of the limiting beliefs you operate under. For the next 7 days, carry a small notebook or use a notes app on your phone. Every time you have a thought about money, write it down. Thoughts like, that's too expensive. I can't afford that. I need to work more hours to make more money. Rich people are greedy. It's not spiritual to want to be wealthy. Do not judge these thoughts, just observe them. This is your Father's house. This is the mental geography you must be willing to leave. At the end of the week, look at your list. This list is the blueprint of your current financial reality. It is the cage you have built for yourself. Step 2. The daily declaration of Lech Lecha. The second step is to actively replace the old programming. Every morning, for 1 minute before you check your phone or engage with the world, you will perform the Lech Lecha declaration. Stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and say these words with conviction. Shalom, your name. Today I go to myself. I leave behind the land of scarcity and the house of limiting beliefs. I am not an employee of the world. I am a partner with God. My mind is not a calculator of expenses. It is a creator of infinite value. My wealth is not limited by my time. It is a reflection of my service to others. I am a vessel for divine abundance. Today, I think like a king. This is not a hollow affirmation. This is a spiritual realignment. You are reminding your soul of its true identity. Step 3. Shift from time to value. This is the most practical and most difficult step. You must change the fundamental question that governs your financial life. The employee asks, how much is my time worth? The billionaire asks, how can I create and deliver immense value to many people? This week, I want you to take one action that reflects this shift. If you have a job, don't just do your tasks. Spend 1 hour thinking about a new process or idea that could save your company $100,000 or generate a new stream of revenue. Present it to your boss. If you have a business, Don't just think about selling more products. Think about how you can 10x the value your product delivers to your customer. If you don't have a business, identify one problem you can solve for 10 people this week, even for free. You must train your brain to stop thinking about earning and start thinking about creating. Now, for the advanced application. How do you apply this at different stages of life? If you're in your 20s, your lech lecha is about experimentation. Your job is to leave the father's house of your university degree and discover what problems you are uniquely gifted to solve. Don't chase a salary. Chase skills and opportunities to create value. If you're in your 50s, your lech lecha is about legacy. You must leave the land of your accumulated experience and ask, how can I now package my life's wisdom and serve thousands with it? This could mean starting a consulting business, writing a book, or mentoring the next generation. The journey is the same, but the landscape changes. The Level 2 hack is to understand the Kabbalistic concept of or, light, and kli, vessel. The billionaire mindset is not about attracting light. The light of God's abundance is infinite and always shining. The mindset is about focusing 100% of your energy on building a bigger vessel. How? Every time you solve a problem for someone else, you expand your vessel. Every time you create value, you expand your vessel. Every time you choose service over selfishness, you expand your vessel. Stop praying for the light. The light is already here. Start obsessing over building a vessel worthy of the light you desire. A billionaire is simply someone who has built a billion-dollar vessel. Let me give you a concrete example of how this works. Imagine two people. Person A prays every day, God, please make me rich. I need $1 million. Person B prays every day, God, show me how I can serve 10,000 people and solve a problem that deeply matters to them. Who do you think will become wealthy? Person B. Why? Because Person A is focused on the light. They are begging for the blessing, but they have not built a vessel to receive it. Person B is focused on the vessel. They are asking, how can I expand my capacity to serve? And as their capacity expands, the light naturally fills it. This is the secret. Wealth is not something you chase. It's something you become a vessel for. Now, let me address the 3 most common objections I hear when I teach this. Objection number 1. Rabbi, I don't have the skills to create a billion-dollar business. My response? Abraham didn't have the skills to become the father of nations when God called him. He was 75 years old, childless, and living in a tent. But he had the mindset. He had the willingness to leave his mental Haran and trust the process. Skills can be learned. Mindset is the foundation. If you have the billionaire mindset, you will attract the mentors, the partners, the resources, and the skills you need. But if you have an employee mindset, no amount of skill will make you wealthy. You will just be a highly skilled employee. Objection number 2. Rabbi, I don't have the capital to start a business. My response? Neither did Daniel. Neither did Sarah. You don't need capital to start creating value. You need creativity, courage, and a commitment to serve. Daniel started with a laptop and a $50 microphone. Sarah started by visiting 5 patients in her spare time. The capital came later, after they had proven the value of their idea. Stop waiting for the money to start. Start creating value, and the money will follow. Objection number 3. Rabbi, I'm too old. I've been an employee my whole life. It's too late to change. My response: Abraham was 75 when God called him to Lech Lecha. Moses was 80 when he led the Israelites out of Egypt. Age is not the barrier. Mindset is. I have seen 60-year-olds build multi-million-dollar businesses, and 25-year-olds stay stuck in entry-level jobs. The difference is not age, it's the willingness to leave the mental Haran and journey to a new land. It is never too late to obey the call of Lech Lecha. So here is my 21-day challenge to you. For the next 21 days, you will live the Abrahamic shift. It will feel unnatural. Your mind will fight you, but you must persist. Here are your 3 immediate, non-negotiable actions for this week. 1. Start your Haran journal tonight. Get a notebook, and for the next 7 days, document every single limiting thought you have about money. No judgment, just awareness. You cannot leave a place you don't know you are in. 2. Perform the Lech Lecha declaration tomorrow morning. Before your feet hit the floor, before the world has a chance to tell you who you are, stand before the mirror and declare your true, divine, billionaire identity. 3. Take one value action this week. Find one way to shift your focus from time to value. Solve a bigger problem. Create a new solution. Take a small step out of the employee mindset and into the owner mindset. Remember the promise you made to yourself at the beginning of this video. You are here to install a new mindset. This is not a motivational speech. This is a spiritual surgery. You are replacing a faulty, scarcity-based operating system with a divine abundance-based one. As King Solomon, the wisest man who ever lived, wrote in Proverbs, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." If you think like a wage earner, you will be one. If you think like a partner with God, a creator of value, a king, you will become one. Shalom. And may you be blessed with the courage of Abraham to leave your mental Haran, and the faith to journey to the land of infinite abundance that God is waiting to show you. Shalom.